Character styles are a relatively new feature to Photoshop, but this is the perfect candidate for character and paragraph styles. I'm going to zoom in to 100% under View, 100%, and I'll scroll all the way up to the top and over to my products text. This is already formatted in the font and size and color I'd like, but for my whole navigation bar, I want the other elements to pick up those same settings. And if my boss or art director comes back to me and says, "Could you change all of those to this font? I don't like that one. And this color? I don't like that one," then it's far easier to edit the character style and have all of them update than to select each one and make every requested change one by one. So let's dig in. With my type tool T, I'm going to aim for the middle of the word products and double-click. I'll go to my window menu and choose Character Styles. And it adds a Character Styles panel. Now the default or basic character style is Myriad Pro Regular, but not this size, and a few of the other settings are different. In the character styles, I will hit the button next to the teeny tiny trash can that says Create New Character Style. I could also go to the panel menu and choose New Character Style. Both will do the same thing. They create something called Character Style 1. If you do a second one, it'll be Character Style 2. But I'll double-click to change the name and scoot this window over so I can see what has been set up in the style. And I'll name this style Navbar, because that's what it's being built for. If there was more than one line of type, I would use a paragraph style because there are more formatting options for paragraphs. But our entire Navbar only has one line. It didn't detect the font family because technically I didn't change it from the default or basic font. So I'm going to select Myriad Pro to make sure it's getting specific about what I'm using. And it's on regular. It did detect the size of 15. There aren't multiple lines, so the leading isn't as important, but I'll set it on auto just to specify. It got my better letter spacing. I could switch between metrics and optical to see the difference. I far prefer optical. And it got my tracking. I could switch between 0 and 25 so you could see the difference. It chose the case of all caps and picked up the color that is one of my corporate identity colors. So I'll click OK again, and I'm going to use my Move tool to create several other copies of this text and then just edit what they say. That way, the nav bar will already be applied to each when I make the edits. So a little power user trick. I could right-click and duplicate the products layer and then give it a name and move it over. Or the power user trick is hold down Option on the Mac or Alt on Windows, and as I drag, it makes copies. So I've got 4 copies, and I'm going to start with my T tool. The letter T will jump to it. I'll double-click on the second word products, and I will name this Adventure Sports. Good. When I'm finished, I can hit the check mark, so now I can double-click in this products, and you'll notice it did rename the layer. Since caps lock was not on, it was an all caps style in the character style. It named the layer the way I typed it, which is all lowercase. And I prefer looking at all lowercase, but that's just me. Feel free to type these in caps if you'd like. This next one should say join. And with the /, the same key as your question mark, log in. Check mark to accept it, and I'll double click in the middle of the last word products, and this will be cart. Now, I can click over on the layer name, and that's another way to deselect. And I won't sleep well tonight if this is named that way, so I'm going to type this in lowercase. There we go. So now all of them have the same case. And what I want to do is align everything. So I'm going to move Cart further right. I'll click the cart layer and move it much further right. And at this point, it would be helpful to have a little guide or grid to show me where everything goes. But for now, we're going to roughly position it. I really want these spaced out. So I'll just move Cart to the far right, and I hit Command minus a few times to zoom out. And I'm just going to visually align this. I'm not ready to do global alignment because we still have a logo that needs to go in, so I just want even spacing. So with Cart to the right and Products to the left, I'll hold down my Shift key to select all 4 type layers, and on my Move tool, I will see the option to distribute the horizontal centers. And it takes from the furthest right piece of text to the furthest left piece of text and balances the other 2 objects in between. I may also want to align the top edges or bottom edges. And in this case, they're all caps, so they should align perfectly. So this has been creating character styles and aligning your text to create a nav bar and have globally editable text. Before I leave you, here comes my boss. Kelly, I don't like that font Myriad Pro. It's good and clean, but I want to go a slightly different direction. Could you change all of those to letter Gothic? I'll double-click my character style navbar. I will go to letter Gothic standard, and it is globally updated. When I click OK, all of them are in my new font. I didn't have to go to every layer or double-click on every piece of text and make that change. You could do the same for changing the color, the size, all of the settings that you see here in character style options and advanced character options and even higher end features for open type like fractions and so on. So I hope you've seen just a small demonstration of how powerful character styles will be, and in a large web or device mockup where there might be a lot of requested changes, how important they are. So if you're doing this kind of mockup, be sure to use character styles where appropriate, or paragraph styles if you have multiple lines of text.